Respected Principal, Head, Department of Education, Karim City College, Dr. Suchita Bhuiya, respected Principal Dr. Riaz sir, esteemed faculty members, participants from across the country, students of BS Karim City College. I, on behalf of Karim City College, welcome you to this 10th web lecture series. And today, our guest is very eminent Dr. Nakhat Nasreen Ma'am, Associate Professor, Faculty of Education, Aligarh Muslim University. Ma'am, we welcome you. I must tell you all that she is not just a teacher, but she is my mentor also, as she has taught me in B.Ed and of course in M.Ed also. From the scolding to the loving to the explanations, we all have gone through her various moods, but the only thing that she always wanted was our achievement, and just our achievement. And now, the only thing that we miss is what we don't like at that particular time. And I also told her when I first talked to her on telephone after the gap of 10 years. This is a very nostalgic moment for me because being her student, I always cherished her. Well, this particular web lecture is going to talk about, is going to think about, or is going to discuss about one of the most important hurdles in the field of education during COVID-19. And you know what is that hurdle? How to take exam, how to evaluate during lockdown, when the students are way away from you and there is no physical contact. Addressing this issue, this particular lecture will really going to turn the stones for us as an educator, for students of B.Ed as a teachers, and for everyone over here in a best possible manner. Well, to begin this lecture, I would first like to invite our esteemed principal, very respected and very loving, Dr. Riaz sir, to please come and begin this meeting with a note of welcome. Dr. Riaz sir, please come and start this meeting with your esteemed word of note of welcome.
Thank you, Sivanur Rahman. Honorable Speaker, Dr. Nakhat Nasreen from Aligarh Muslim University, Dr. Suchita Bhuiya, Head of the Department of Education, Karim City College, Dr. Sivanur Rahman, and Ritu Raj, convener of this program, all faculty members, and my dear students. I am proud and honored today to welcome among us Dr. Nakhat Nasreen, an educationist and a member of various educational organizations who needs no introduction to the word of letter. However, on behalf of the college management, I express my deep gratitude to her for taking time out of her busy schedule to talk to our students and share her knowledge with them. Web lecture is an initiative of Faculty of Education, Karim City College, which intends to open the door of creativity for our students by introducing them to fertile minds across the globe. In the earlier events of the series of web lecture, the department has welcomed national famous scholar. Today's interaction with Dr. Nakhat Nasreen with our students is and keep the fire of learning ignited their heart. Today's topic is issue of evaluation during COVID-19. Really, this is burning topic for all teachers and students. I hope sharing of her knowledge and wisdom with our students is highly fortunate on our part and shall help to inspire them a lot of in their journey of academic. I also take this opportunity to congratulate Department of Education, particularly Sujita Bhuiya, Head, and Dr. Sivanur Rahman and Ritu Raj, convener of this program, for organizing this program and bringing of such an admirable academic to us. I also express my admiration for all faculty members for the success of this seminar. I also welcome my all colleagues and faculty members of the other colleges for joining with us. I extend my best wishes to the departments and its students for dynamic learning session ahead. Thank you. Thank you very much to all.
Yeah. Hello. Thank you, Riyaz sir.
Thank you
for your esteemed word and so loving support that is always continuous with the Faculty of Education, Kareem City College. Now it's time to introduce our very loving Dr. Nakhat Nasreen ma'am and try to furnish her glimpses of her achievements. Ma'am, I've already told you that I have a surprise for you when I had a conversation talk with you, and this is the time to open that surprise. There is another student of yours who is going to welcome you and introduce you to all the students, faculty members, and everyone joined today. And her name is Subuhi Rahman. As you know, Subuhi Jadir, your student, and now an active member of Kareem City College, working as an assistant professor. So I welcome Subuhi Rahman to please welcome Dr. Nakhat Nasreen ma'am and introduce us with her achievements and contribution to educational field. Subuhi Rahman, please.
आवाज नहीं आ रही है सुबुही, आवाज नहीं आ रही है। हाँ सुबुही, आवाज नहीं आ रही है तुम्हारी।
हाँ मैडम, जिसका माइक, प्लीज आप लोग माइक बंद कर लीजिए। जिसका माइक ऑन है प्लीज माइक ऑफ कर लीजिए आप लोग। माइक ऑन है क्योंकि कहीं से बहुत तेज आवाज आ रही है फैन। ओके ओके ओके
सुबुही स्टार्ट करो। निखत मैडम
जी,
पहले आप अभी थोड़ा म्यूट कर लीजिए अपना, फिर उसके बाद जैसे ही सुबुही का स्टार्ट हो जाएगा फिर उसके बाद आप कर स्टार्ट कीजिए। अभी म्यूट कर लीजिए। हेलो। ओके। हेलो। Okay.
Voice
A
clear है
very
मैम,
warm
बोलिए।
and blissful morning to our eminent speaker, Dr. Nakhat Nasreen ma'am, our professor in charge, Dr. Muhammad Riaz sir, our HOD, Dr. Sucheta Bhuya ma'am, the organizing team, Professor Shiban and Professor Ritu, my colleagues, and all the attendees over here. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to the web lecture organized by the Faculty of Education, Kareem City College, Jamshedpur. It is my privilege to introduce you all my esteemed teacher and today's honorable speaker, Dr. Nakhat Nasreen ma'am. Before telling you all about her achievements and excellence, I would like to dedicate the words of Aristotle to our speaker. Excellence is never an accident. It is the result of high intention, sincere efforts, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and the vision to see the obstacles as opportunities. After going through your profile, ma'am, I would definitely say it is your sincere efforts, intelligence, hard work, and vision which has made you to touch the pinnacle of success. I bring here some highlights of her achievements. Dr. Nakhat Nasreen is a professor in the Department of Education, Aligarh Muslim University. She has 27 years of teaching experience and 23 years of research experience. She has done research in environmental education, educational technology, primary education, and teacher education. She has constructed and standardized a test entitled Quality of Life Scale 2014. Various books have been published bearing her name. She has she has created a course module for MOOC and SWIM on the title Environmental Education in Teachers Training Institutes. She has also supervised two UGC funded projects for postdoctoral fellowships under Dr. Radha Krishnan Postdoctoral Fellowship in Humanities and Social Science 2014-15 scheme. She has been a resource person in various national level seminars and conferences. She has been the member of many reputed national and international committees, including number one, member of Technical Committee, University of Barcelona, Spain, member of Technical Committee, Aizu Wakamatsu, Japan, life member, Indian Academy of Applied Psychology, reviewer of Manuscript of Sage, member of Advisory Board Gyanodaya, and many more. She has supervised the PhD of 14 candidates and AMED dissertation of 32 candidates. Her research papers published in various national and international journals. Well, the time has its limitations, but the list of her achievements is so long. टाइम की नज़ाकत को देख के थोड़ा सा मैं इस यहाँ पर अपनी बात को, मैम के अचीवमेंट्स को पूरा आपको नहीं बता सकती, बस कुछ लाइनों के साथ मैं मैम को दावत देना चाहूंगी आज के इस वेब लेक्चर में। आप बाज़मत हैं जितने उतने बाखलाक हैं। आप बाज़मत हैं जितने उतने बाखलाक हैं। हर किसी के दिल में बस जाने के काबिल आप हैं। आपके आने से रौनक बढ़ गई महफिल की आज। आपके आने से रौनक बढ़ गई महफिल की आज। रूह महफिल, जान महफिल, शान महफिल आप हैं। तो मैम, बहुत इज्जत के साथ मैं आपको इस वेब लेक्चर में की दावत देती हूँ। मैम, द स्टेज इज ऑल योर्स नाउ।
नखत नसरीन मैम, आप अपना
हाँ मैडम,
म्यूट
मैडम
कर दीजिए मैम अपने माइक को।
अनम्यूट कीजिए। हाँ हाँ, अनम्यूट कीजिए मैडम। हाँ, ओके मैडम।
Good morning,
हाँ,
everyone.
अब
I think now you are
हाँ,
able
गुड
to hear
मॉर्निंग।
me.
हाँ
Yes,
हाँ
ma'am. Good
हाँ
morning.
मैडम।
I am really overwhelmed this morning by hearing such praises in favor of me, which I am really not able to have. Anyway, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ इस वक्त, and I am really feeling elated and pleased to join you all in this webinar. And it's really a matter of great pleasure for me that I am here with you, and I want to extend my deep thanks to Professor Sujita Bhunya ma'am, to Shibanu Rahman, and the convener of this program, and especially to Subuhi and all the listeners who are here to listen to my lecture. And I hope I will not bore you. So now I would like to start and coming soon to the lecture, which is the main point here today. So I am going to start my presentation. Is it started? Is my presentation started?
नो मैडम।
Okay. Okay. Just a minute.
हेलो मैम। करते रहो।
I think it's on now.
यस मैम।
यस मैडम।
Okay. Is it visible to you all?
यस मैडम।
Okay. So the topic of today's lecture is issues of evaluation during COVID-19. As we all are undergoing the period of crisis due to COVID-19, and none but the education is also affected badly and adversely by the effect of COVID-19. So the topic is really very important and very burning. And now I want to explain first what is evaluation. As you all know, evaluation is the collection, analysis, and interpretation of information about any aspect of a program of education or training as part of a recognized process of judging its effectiveness, its efficiency, and any other outcomes it may have. Evaluation is the process of collection of information about any aspect of education, like the school program, the program of any training college or any higher education learning. We have certain goals. Before starting any program of education or any school or any institution, we set the goals. So evaluation is the process of collecting information about the running of that program, about the success of its achievement, and about achievement of the objectives which have been set before starting the program. It's not only the collection, it's also the analysis and interpretation of those informations that we collect while evaluating the success of that program, or while checking whether we are achieving the goals that we have set or not. So any program's effectiveness, its efficiency, and any results or outcomes that it may have are judged and tested through the process of evaluation. That's why it is very, very important. But the irony is that nowadays we have just forgotten the importance of evaluation. We have switched over from the main focus of evaluation, and we are not giving importance or significance to this process of evaluation. The need of evaluation is felt in the fact that it helps us to know whether the instructional objectives have been achieved. As I just told you that before starting any program, we set certain goals. And in this connection, Benjamin S. Bloom has given a detail of all educational objectives in his Bloom's taxonomy. So that Bloom's taxonomy or educational objectives set a platform or a template for assessment. So need of evaluation is felt when we want to judge whether the instructional objectives have been achieved. It also helps in planning of better strategies for education. The feedback that has been provided by the evaluation process serves the purpose of setting or planning other strategies which could help the improvement of this program. And a sound program of evaluation clarifies the aims of education. As all of you who are concerned with teachers training institutes know very well that in any education system, the first thing is aims of education. Before starting any program, any learning process, we set the aims of education. So it is the sound program of evaluation that clarifies the aims of education. Why? Because in the end, these aims are tested and the evaluation process depends upon the set objectives, and the set objectives form a platform or a template to evaluate the achievements of that program or success of that program. It helps us to know whether the aims and objectives are attainable. Not only that we test the aims, we also get a feedback about the objectives, whether they are attainable or not. Maybe we have set those aims, but we are unable to attain. So the process of evaluation also tells about the attainability or about the possibilities of attainment of those objectives. Importance of evaluation lies in the thing that a systematic method of study a program or a systematic method of practice or intervention is understood when we evaluate those things. So it provides a systematic method to study the program, to intervene it, or to understand how well it will achieve. Evaluation helps determine what works well and what could be improved in a program or in any initiative. So it serves many purposes. Evaluation is a very, very important thing, and it serves many purposes in the field of education or in establishing any institution or starting any school or any program of learning. So this is importance of evaluation. Now, by discussing all these things, we came to the point that the main focus of evaluation should be on attainment of program objectives, on planning for better strategies for education, on clarification of aims of education, and on determining what works well and what needs improvement. So with this discussion, I just want to say that the focus of evaluation should be on attainment of program objectives, on planning for better strategies for education, on clarifying our aims of education, on determining what will work well and what needs improvement. But my question is, really, Are we thinking on these things during this period of COVID-19, or before this period? Do we really focus on these things while we sit for evaluation? I suppose we are lagging far behind in focusing on these points of evaluation. So first of all, my humble suggestion and my humble request to all teacher trainees is that while evaluating our students, we should focus on these points. This is my humble request and suggestion to you all, because as all of you have said and you recognize me as a very harsh and very strict teacher and mentor also and a guide also. So through these lectures, I want my students to improve themselves and to remember my lines and to remember what I want from them and what they are needed in the society, for what they are needed in the society. Now, we come directly to the issue of COVID-19 and the effects of COVID-19 on higher education system. There are many challenges that has been raised during this worst period of COVID-19, with which we are all affected and we are undergoing in this period. We are living in a worst period of our lifetime, that is the period of COVID-19. It has not left any corner of life unaffected. It has touched each and every corner of our life, and education is one of the important corners of our life. It is very, very important thing. Education is the root of many success, many achievements. It is the path which leads the society to many things, many solutions of life problems. So it is very, very important. Now, Indian International Association of Universities, IAU, is an organization. It is an NGO which was created in 1950, and officially it is associated with UNESCO. So during this period, it has started conducting many surveys all over the world. And the process of surveying is going on, and they have come with a recent report on their survey on impacts of COVID-19 on higher education around the world. This survey has been conducted throughout the world, each and every country, developing country, developed country, poor countries, advanced countries, high technology countries, and underdeveloped countries, all have been surveyed. And some of the important highlights of these reports are as under. The report is very lengthy. I'm just reading out few points which have relevance with this lecture. So one point, almost all higher education institutes, COVID-19 has affected teaching and learning. We all agree to this, that this COVID-19 has affected teaching and learning very badly. 2/3 reported that classroom teaching has been replaced by distance teaching and learning. We all know, and this lecture and many such lectures are examples that we have now switched over to online learning and teaching. There are many hurdles also in this switchover, in this shift to online teaching. And not only online teaching and learning is affected, the process of evaluation is also affected, and there are many issues that we want to discuss, and we will come to that. First, I just want to give some points on how teaching and learning has been affected, because the evaluation is based on teaching and learning. What do we evaluate is many aspects, many issues related to teaching and learning. So it has affected all parts of the world. education in all around world, in all institutes almost, starting from the primary education system through middle, higher, and research level. One quarter reported that most activities are currently suspended, but the institution is working on developing solutions to continue teaching and learning through digital or self-study means. Nowadays, many students have switched over to self-study because of this social distancing. The colleges and schools are closed, the universities are closed, most of the offices are also closed, or they are not opening on full-time basis. Partial opening is there, so there is lot of hurdle. Students have been quarantined, they are limited to their homes, they are maintaining social distancing, so they have switched over and they have shifted to self-learning mode or to distance learning mode. And many teachers have purchased new laptops, they have purchased new Android mobile, many students have purchased Android mobile just to cope up with this worsening situation of COVID-19, because education is going on through homes. Though it is a fact that only I think 25 to 30% children are attending online classes. Most of the students, nearly 70 to 75% students are not attending online classes. But still, we are coping up with the problem and we are trying to achieve the targets. We are trying not to put any loss to our students and not to or to minimize the bad effects of COVID-19. In this report, it has been mentioned that 2/3 of higher education institutions were able to move teaching online, while 1/3 was not. There are many institutions in the world who have not switched over to the online mode of learning, and the study is just closed. They are badly hampered and the study had been worstly affected in those institutions. However, the majority of these higher education institutions are working on developing solutions to continue teaching online. They are trying hard, they are taking pains in coping up with this COVID-19 situation, and they are trying to help themselves and their students for online teaching. Higher education institutes are reacting quite quickly to continue teaching and to provide learning opportunities to their students. This is also confirmed by papers being published around the world on the current crisis of digitalization of higher education. Nowadays, online webinars are going on, online researches are going on, and people are writing papers, they are studying on the effects of COVID-19. So they are also working hard in this period of crisis, and they are busy in publishing papers on it. So most of the papers are saying that the reaction of teachers and students is quite quick. Those who were apprehended, those who were hesitant in learning through online mode have also started taking pains and have also started training themselves to learn through and to teach through this online mode. It is important to mention that 4 of the 7 higher education institutes that reported no effect on teaching and learning are virtual universities. Learners, there are many institutes in the world which are providing virtual learning, which are conducting virtual classes. So there are many virtual universities also where 100% learning is virtual. So these universities have reported that there is no effect of COVID-19. So naturally, online learning will not be affected, but still 4 of the 7 higher education institutes have reported that there is no effect, and 3 have reported that there is effect on teaching learning. 2/3 of higher education institutes were able to move teaching online, while 1/3 was not. In this period of crisis, many institutions have not switched over to online teaching mode. The level of readiness or preparedness of teachers to lift this challenge is very diverse. Diverse feelings have been received from teachers. Some are quite depressed. Some teachers are overwhelmed. Some are taking it as a challenge. Some have developed interest in this online mode, and they are increasing their skills of learning through online mode. But there are mixed reactions, and teachers and students are feeling bad in this COVID-19 period. Although continuing education to the best extent possible, yet not guarantee the same level of quality compared to face-to-face education. I am also realizing that students are feeling depressed, they are frustrated because they are not meeting their teachers, their friends, they are not coming to the campus. It is very difficult for them to come to the campus, so they are feeling very bad and they have got bored. Their mental condition is also deteriorating because whole time being quarantined in home, not getting out, not meeting their friends, not getting face-to-face connection with their teachers and students is hampering their mental level, and it is hampering their capacities also. So these are the bad effects of this COVID-19 period. Now I come to the main issue of this lecture, that is effect of COVID-19 or challenges on evaluation and examination in this COVID-19 period. It has been reported that half of the higher education institutions are planning to carry out exams for the semester as planned, although the majority of them through and only 6% as usual. This is the worldwide data. This is not limited to India. The data is a worldwide data which includes developed and advanced countries also, which include poor countries also, which include developing countries also. India still comes under the developing countries, I think, and it is far behind. It is lagging far behind, and it has not coped up technologically to face these challenges. So in India also, as you all are aware, and you must be reading through newspapers and you must be getting information about daily news channels, that many exams have been postponed. Though it was decided that exams will be conducted in the month of July, the NEET exam, which was scheduled on 26 July, has also been postponed, and many exams are postponed till further orders. So why? Why the examinations are postponed? Because somehow by getting surveys, by conducting researches, we have come to the point, we have come to the conclusion that in this COVID-19 period, it is not feasible to conduct online examination. That is my concluding point. I will come to it in the last, but somehow it just slipped. So I am telling you that most of the institutions who were planning to conduct offline examination or online examination in this period of time have decided to postpone the examination. 14% plan to carry out only part of the planned exams, while others will be postponed. Partially, in our university also, in the 4th semester and 2nd semester systems, the examination mode was just limited to taking of assignments. In 4 unit courses, we have taken assignments on each unit, and that has covered only 70% of the part. That is, in total of 100 marks, we have conducted exams in the form of assignment, and we have taken assignments of only 70 marks. 30 marks are left still, and we are waiting for this COVID-19 period to over. And when it will over, somewhere in the month of, say, October, November, or December, or maybe in the next year, 2021. But we have decided that we are unable to conduct offline examination as well as online examination on that 30% pass marks. So the examinations are postponed. At about 1/4 of higher education institutes, exams will be postponed on or rare on hold at the moment. So examinations are on hold. At 89% of higher education institutes, strategies are being discussed to address the planning of exam for the semester. This is in 89% of higher education institutes. The remaining 11% is which are not discussing strategies for the planning exams for the semester are either being postponed or on hold. This is a worrying signal for this group of higher education institutes because it means that students are left without the possibility of taking exams and at risk of losing time while no solution is being made. So we are running in a period of crisis. We have decided in most of the institutions to postpone the exams till further orders. Now I come to the issues and challenges, why we have decided this and why we are unable to take examination online. What are the points, what are the hurdles which are hampering us in conducting online examination? By discussing the essence of evaluation, the importance and significance of evaluation, that it is not only the process of checking the achievements of students, rather it is also a process of getting feedback about which objectives could be achieved, which could not be achieved, and how to improve our education system, how to improve our pedagogy, how to improve teaching learning process, and how to improve or modify the prevailing strategies of education. So these are the purposes of evaluation on which we should focus. The main challenges, problems, or issues ahead on the part of evaluation during COVID-19 are: number one, sudden and unprepared shift to online exam. Neither the teachers nor the students were prepared for this sudden shift to online teaching or examination. Faced a lot of problem in getting learning, in getting notes. The teachers have also faced a lot of problem in improving their methodology, in changing their methodology for teaching purpose. Secondly, lack of technical infrastructure. We all know that teaching learning in online mode needs Android mobile, it needs laptop. I'm hearing some disturbing voice. Am I audible to you all?
Wait, ma'am. Those who have unmuted their microphone, please अपने microphone को mute कर लीजिए. Rizwan sir.
Rizwan sir.
Shibanu Rahman,
जी madam.
are you able to hear me?
Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. अब आप continue कीजिए.
Okay, okay. There was some disturbance. So the challenges regarding evaluation during COVID-19 period is sudden and unprepared shift to online exam. The minds were not prepared, the students and teachers were not motivated, and this COVID-19, which is an pandemic, has come as an untoward and sudden depressing event on the on the entire world, and it has hampered the thinking, the mental fitness and physical fitness of people all around the world. People all around the world are busy in protecting themselves, are thinking just about their lives, and they are not prepared for any type of examination or any type of teaching and learning. They are hampered by their economic crisis also. Many have lost jobs. Many parents have lost jobs, and they are unable to purchase any such kind of mobile or system which could help their children to learn through online mode. So in such a critical period, we think of studying and to give exams. Secondly, lack of technical infrastructure, which includes a system, that is laptop or Android mobile or computer, and the internet, because online teaching requires internet facility and a good connectivity. Poor connectivity also disrupts the process of teaching and learning. Accessibility is hampered, and because of power failure or because of poor internet connectivity, students are not able to access to their teachers. This is the reason that very thin attendance is there in online classes in schools and in colleges also. I have just surveyed around me because I myself am a teacher, and people living around me are also connected with university and with the schools. So most of them have reported, the teachers, that only 20% or 15% students are turning. So how can we miss? It's a big question that anyone, even if one student is missed in exams because of the problems of administration, not because of his own problem or because of the problem of connectivity, how can we declare the results if we miss even one student? And here, more than 70 or 75% students are not able to attend classes. So how could they attend the examination? This is a very simple question. Distance learning competencies and pedagogies. Teachers are unable to prepare questions and to conduct examination online. There are limited mode in taking online examination. The only mode that remains is the video conferencing or telephone. If we conduct video conferencing, the connectivity is poor and a student is unable to connect to his teacher. Secondly, the confidentiality of the examination will be lost. The questions are open to all. If one examinee is being examined and others are also seeing him, what will be the security and sanctity of the conduct of examination? That is a big question. Power failure. All of a sudden, if there is a power failure and the students are unable to give exam, the question will be leaked. Next time, he will be again fixed for giving examination. So these are big hurdles in the path of conducting online examination. Special problems of electricity supply, power failure, and connectivity in remote areas. India is a country where most of the population is living in urban, in rural areas, and there are problems of electric supply, there are problems of internet connectivity. Moreover, in poor schools, in government schools, the government is not supplying tablets or laptop or any such gadget to the students with which they will be able to attend school, or they will be able to appear in the online examination. So when by you, I mean to address to the government and the administration, when the government and the administrators are unable to supply the sources of learning, the mode of online learning, how could they expect of conducting examination? This is my personal viewpoint. Inaccessibility of students to online learning material and content sources. Before appearing to the exams, students undergo preparation for their exams. They collect study material, they visit library, they visit their friends, and they prepare notes. In this period of crisis, when they are sitting at their homes and they are following this social distancing, how could they arrange the note? How could they meet the requirement of content? How could they avail the learning material? So this is also a big problem, that they are running short of learning material, they are running short of study material, they are running short of books, and therefore they are not prepared to appear before any examination. Next point is the challenge: participation of examinee. As I said just a few moments before, that very thin attendance is there in online classes. How could we expect that there will be full attendance and full participation of examinee? That is again a big question. So many parents and students are of the view that there could not be even 50% participation in exams. Many intelligent students are just enjoying this period of quarantine, and they are confident enough that there will be no exams and the entire year of 2020 will go empty and there will be a zero session. This is their wishful thinking. I don't know how they are thinking this way, how smart they are in thinking this way, that there will be a zero and all these efforts will go waste, all these efforts of online teaching will go waste. Maybe somewhere they are thinking that even if one examinee is absent in the exam due to these hurdles, due to the hurdles in which he himself is not responsible, but the system is responsible. So the entire process of examination will be repeated. So what's the use of taking online examination? Next point is control on use of unfair means during examination. If somehow we are able to conduct examination online, what is the guarantee that we will be able to controlling over unfair means, that is cheating and other things? In online teaching, the parents have been sitting throughout the period and they were assisting their children in taking notes and in getting online, because small children of nursery classes, children of even up to 5th, 6th standard, and even up to 9th and 10th standard, they were assisted by their parents, and those were those parents who are educated and who are aware of this getting online, and who are, I must say, technologically friendly. They know how to get online, they know how to assist their children. Many more who were the children of uneducated parents were remaining absent and out of this online classroom. So, and the worksheets that were given by the teacher during this online teaching were filled by the parents of those children. The children were busy in their games. The children were busy in other activities, and parents were sitting and filling the worksheets assigned by the teachers, or filling the assignments. At higher level, many students who were there in remote areas and who were unable to submit assignments, their assignments were submitted by those friends who were online, who had got the facilities of this email system and mobile system through WhatsApp. They have submitted the assignment of their friends. So what is the fair means in conducting examination? Again, a big question. Uniformity of questions or task or assessment of performance. In online mode of teaching, when there is no paper and pencil, the students are off the school. They are not in the school. They are not in the examination hall. And the mode of taking examination is not through paper and pencil or paper and pen. The mode is through Viva Voce or through video conferencing or through phone calls, telephonic mode of taking Viva. If there are 100 students in one class and a session of say 10 minutes only is required for taking examination, how many questions are to be prepared by a single teacher in the situation that he has not to repeat the questions to all students? How many questions of same level, of same say understanding level and of same domain he will be able to prepare? Again, a big question mark. So the uniformity of questions, the uniformity of task and assessment of performance for all students will not be maintained and will not remain. Uniformity during conduct of examination. The uniformity of time. Suppose there is some hurdle that an examinee is giving examination and there is a power failure, there is a power cut, and his time is disrupted. So he will be given another time. So the fixation of time is not equal, cannot remain. It is just a big hamper in India and in other such countries which are facing a big problem of power failure. So the uniformity during conduct of examination is also challenged. The control on time and duration of examination is also challenged, and the control on vigilance during examination is also challenged. In the normal offline examination system, in examination hall, when there are many invigilators, still there are incidences of cheating. There are incidences of educational crime. So how can we put a check during online examination? Again, a big problem. So these are very serious problems that are being faced in the period of COVID-19, and we should ponder over to all these situations. And so far as I have concluded, by observing the situation, by reading the articles, by watching the news channels, by hearing the news, and by just reading out the reports of surveys which are being conducted all over the world during this COVID-19 period, I have came to the conclusion that in the prevailing situation of COVID-19, the teaching institutions in general are unable to move to online provision of examination and evaluation because their students simply do not have access to the internet from home in most of the low and middle income countries. In these cases, where lockdown or social distancing measures are in place, teaching and learning is fully disrupted. Conduct of online examination is also not finding feasibility. It seems unrealistic for the students to appear in the examinations and be able to complete the academic year. It will increase the burden on students and teachers. The mental state of parents, the mental state of students is not in stable condition. You might have heard the instances of committing suicide. Many laborers are committing suicide. Many parents are committing suicide just because they are out of job and they have lost their work. They are facing the challenges of economic crisis in their homes. They have failed to earn bread and butter for their family. They have just fallen down in their economy level, and they have many of the middle income group people have came down to the state of beggar, and they are begging. So in such a critical period of time, the examination online is only increasing the burden on students and teachers, and their mental and physical health is hampered. The very essence of evaluation will be curbed if conducted online. As we have discussed in my previous sentences of this lecture, that the focus of evaluation should be on achieving the targets, on modifying the system, on getting feedback to make better improvements in teaching and learning. But the whole thing has been disrupted and it has come to a 0 point. The very essence of evaluation has come to a 0 level, and the purpose of examination and evaluation would not be realized if conducted online. Hence, the academicians, administration, stakeholders, and all concerned should ponder over the situation sincerely before taking any decision. Thank you very much. I suppose I have not bored you.
Not at all, ma'am, not at all.
Hello? Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes ma'am, बोलिए मैम.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
हाँ मैम, बोलिए
Hello.
बोलिए मैम.
My lecture
सुबह
is
मैडम.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your knowledge with us. Now I request my colleagues to put some questions to ma'am. Please, those who want to ask questions to ma'am, please unmute yourself and ask questions. Is there anyone who wants to ask any question from faculty?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, sir, please ask.
Ma'am, I should start this question answer series with myself only. Ma'am, as I was going through, I saw lots of university like Delhi University, English and Foreign Language University, IFLU Hyderabad, HU Hyderabad, and some of the University of Bangalore. They are shifting themselves for open book examination, right? So is it feasible for college, for our college, or for the universities which are regional in nature? Can they also shift to open book examination? Is there any feasibility, or we should stay waiting for the physical exam?
Yes. See, taking online open book examination is not a joke. it requires skilled teachers who are able to prepare questions, open-ended questions, because in open book system, the type of question which is allowed is essay type question. In essay type questions, again, there are two types: extended response and limited response questions. The extended response questions, though, have no limit on the answer, and the limited response questions put a limit to the answer, but the framing of question of extended response type is very, very difficult, because these questions are based on higher order aims, like after application. If you concentrate on Bloom's taxonomy of educational objectives, in the very first domain, that is cognitive domain, we have 6 objectives: knowledge, understanding, application, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So in this open book system, the types of questions which are suitable are based on analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So the teacher skill is challenged. He has to prepare questions which are testing the power of analysis, the power of evaluation, and the power of synthesis of students. In such questions, there is an opportunity to keep the books open. The students can open their book, but the nature of question is such, the question is so typical, that in spite of opening the books, there will be a difficult time for the students, even in writing a few lines or in writing one paragraph of their answer. So it requires really a good skill on part of the teacher who are going to conduct this type of examination, open book system examination. And I don't think in our education system, I'm not challenging, I'm not pointing out their drawbacks, but I'm very humbly saying that the teachers are not trained, they are not skilled in framing questions of higher level order.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please say something.
Very much for
Ma'am,
your-
Sandhya ma'am is our senior faculty. She wants to say something.
Okay. Yes, Sandhya.
Good morning, ma'am. Actually, ma'am,
Good morning.
it is my opinion that it is, if open book examination will be held, then it will be difficult for the small students, the children.
Yes. And when
Of the primary
university-
school students, for the primary school students and pre-primary, it will be very difficult. Just, I think it is not possible even.
And the availability of books, when the university is closed, when libraries are closed, how could the students get the books which are required?
Exactly.
है ना?
Exactly.
Availability of resource material, availability of content for answering those questions.
Yes.
मान लीजिए कोई suppose a question is asked, and for that question I need a book of research methodology written by John W. Best, and the book is not available. So how
Yes.
could I answer as an examinee?
Yes, ma'am.
As we know that आप बहुत सारे कमिटीज के मेंबर्स हैं और esteemed कमिटीज की, बहुत polished कमिटीज की मेंबर हैं, तो you must be knowing about the policies. So मैं जानना चाहता हूँ कि is there any initiatives which have been made by the government of India for literacizing the teachers for online classroom and online exam or online online stuff? कुछ policy बन रही है या बनने वाली है जो मास्टर्स को जो है ट्रेन कर सके टीचर को एनसीटीई, यूजीसी या सीएसआईआर की तरफ से?
अब इस सिलसिले में आपने जो मुझसे क्वेश्चन पूछा है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से रिलेटेड, या वहाँ जो लोग भी बैठे हुए हैं, with due respect to all these administrators and the policy makers, with due respect, I would just say a couplet to them in their respect that बर्बाद गुलिस्तां करने को बस एक ही उल्लू काफी है, अंजामे गुलिस्तां क्या होगा, हर शाख पे उल्लू बैठा है. इससे ज्यादा मैं और कुछ नहीं कह सकती.
Yeah, I could understand, ma'am. Is there, Subbu, you can take up and ask questions from the students.
Yes, students, any one of you wants to ask? Any of the attendees wants to ask any question? Please unmute yourself and ask.
Good afternoon. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. Please ask
Yeah,
question,
Geeta ma'am.
please. Yes, ma'am. Geeta, ma'am.
This is
Yes,
this
Geeta
is Geeta from Bangalore, ma'am.
Geeta ma'am from Bangalore. Let
Yes,
me introduce her. She is Geeta ma'am from Bangalore. She is associated with B.Ed College in Bangalore. Geeta ma'am, you can go ahead and ask
Yes.
questions.
Nakat ma'am, you spoke very well about the points of evaluation, how the evaluation points you spoke very clearly, crystal clear, and your presentation was very good, ma'am.
Thank you
I
very
would like
much.
to appreciate the presentation which you have made.
I am
And-
overwhelmed with your remarks.
Yes, ma'am. And I would like to ask only one small doubt, not a question exactly. I just have a doubt. In case if you are not going in for examination, do
Yes.
we have to postpone the examination for the next session along with the next session when it goes in the this thing? Or how, ma'am? What do you suggest? What is your suggestion? In case if you are not going in for online examination, I
See,
do
ma'am.
agree with you that it is not feasible to go for the online examination. I do agree with you, but what to do for the evaluating? Do we have to postpone it for the next session or how?
Yes, ma'am. My humble feeling, just this is my very, very personal opinion and my feeling that in this COVID-19 period, the entire effort of taking online examination will be useless. We are putting a lot of efforts, but I think to me, to my heart, in the bottom of my heart, I feel that all these will go waste. And in the next session, when the examination, when the schools and colleges are open, maybe in 2021, offline examination will be the only solution and the things will be repeated. The online classes will also be repeated in offline mode because many students have not attended the class. The attendance is very thin. So even if one student has not attended and if only one student misses the examination just because of failure of administration, because of not his handicapness, because of the handicapness of the institutions and this situation, how can we declare results? Will it not be an injustice to the humanity? And there are not only one, there are many such cases. Maximum are not attending the classes. So what's the use of putting all these efforts on very few people, on 15% attendees? You just tell me.
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
Parveen,
so much.
Parveen, ma'am, please ask your question. Unmute yourself, ma'am.
My question is also same. If we are not taking exam,
Ma'am, please speak loudly. Parveen, ma'am, please speak loudly.
now it is
I'm
audible.
very happy.
Yes, ma'am, you are. Yes, you are audible. Please.
My question is
my
also
dear and
same,
dear ones.
just like Geeta, ma'am. So if we are not taking exams, so how will they plan for future? Because if they are not clear their present year,
I think the present year 2020
yes,
is a
ma'am.
0 year in all regards, and we should delete it from the calendar of our life. This is of no use. Maybe I am wrong.
No, ma'am, no, not you are correct, because we can't take exams in this situation.
Yes.
So
What about the losses, madam? Students' loss of 1 year of their life, and in long future, they will lose this year. Government will not increase the retirement age of the children of today's children.
देखिए,
Very nice
इस
question.
सिलसिले में मैं ये कहूंगी आपसे कि जान है तो जहान है. What about those who have lost their lives?
Yes,
What
ma'am.
about
You're
those who have lost their
absolutely
mental
correct.
state? है ना? What about those who have came down to the zero level of their economy?
Yes, ma'am. देर आए दुरुस्त आए, थोड़ा हमें वेट करना होगा.
Yes.
Right.
The examinations should be conducted on a regular basis only, with a full essence of the meaning of evaluation.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are right.
Somewhere we have lost the meaning, essence, and the focus of evaluation in our education system.
Yes, ma'am. Because my son also had exams. He is in BTech, but they are cheating. Still, they are cheating.
Yes, yes,
They are
yes,
using unfair means.
yes. So what's the use?
But no use,
What's
no
the
use,
use
ma'am.
of taking exam?
Only they are
that-
passing, just passing.
The exam is not serving the purpose of evaluating the progress of a student. It has not served the purpose of taking any feedback. What feedback we are taking? That the notes that we have given to our students during online teaching, they have just copy, cut, pasted, and they have returned back. They have just slapped on our face in the form of assignment without any change in their behavior. We talk about change in behavior. Are we able to bring any change in the behavior of our students?
No, ma'am. No.
What we have taught to them during this crisis of COVID-19 with regard to education? Cheating.
Yes, ma'am.
They are busy in their mobiles. They are busy in their games. They come and they put their attendance online and then they go back. मेरे ख्याल से आप सब लोग जो भी पेरेंट्स हैं, आपके घर में जिन बच्चों ने भी ऑनलाइन क्लासेस अटेंड की हैं, उन्होंने भी यही किया होगा.
Yes, ma'am.
लगा कभी कोई टीचर को म्यूट कर दे रहा है, कभी वो अपने आपस में बातों में लग जा रहे हैं. This is all the students are just making fun of online of teaching and learning. ये मजाक है. हम लोगों ने ऑनलाइन टीचिंग लर्निंग में सिर्फ मजाक उड़ाया है और कुछ नहीं किया.
Satya ma'am, do you want to ask any question? Please unmute yourself.
Actually, I had a doubt, but ma'am has cleared it very well. Ma'am,
What was your
another
doubt?
I have that the COVID-19 is a pandemic, and we cannot get sure that in the future we cannot face this type of pandemic. So, what would be the probable solution for this, so that we may be prepared for the future also? There should be some steps that we should take, no, because as an educationist, if there is a problem, there must be a solution, and we should find the solution. So regarding evaluation procedure, is there any kind of solution, like can we take any kind of evaluation taking some criteria of different kind of skill, like their creativity skill and all, so that by taking only one type of examination, we cannot get assured that our student has achieved all type of skills. So can be a path that taking consideration upon some certain kind of skill, and we can go ahead for further now, beside telling that it's just a waste of the period and all.
Yes, ma'am, Satya Jha, ma'am. I am also realizing that this is a big loss of 1 year. We are losing 1 year. 2020 is a big loss. It's not only academic loss, it is loss of economy also. And it is loss of health also. There are many health issues. The pandemic COVID-19 is like a big havoc, एक बहुत बड़ी मुसीबत की तरह से ये हमारे सरों पर मुसल्लत हुई है, जिसने हमारे आपस के रिलेशंस को भी हैम्पर किया है. It has not only affected education, it has affected many things. So if we think in terms of just wasting a year, I think this is a very narrow type of, I am not commenting on anyone, but to me, it's a narrow thinking that we are losing 1 year. If compared to our whole life achievement, and if compared to the achievement of the humanity, and if we talk in terms of humanity, the entire humanity, the lives of people, I think lives of people are more important. Their mental health is more important. Their physical health is more important than just achieving 1 year success in education. कि हम 8th से 9th क्लास में चले गए, या किसी ने जो है वो नीट का टेस्ट पास कर लिया, इस साल नहीं पास कर पाया, वो पास कर सकता था, he was able to compete but he could not just because not conducting of examination, so he has lost. There are many more who were able to compete but they are not getting the opportunity to sit in online examination just because of this COVID-19. What about them? उनके बारे में क्या हमने सोचा? So yes, I think
yes ma'am, please continue.
I think to continue with life, to continue with health, to continue with a good status of living and a good standard of living is more important than just saving 1 academic year. There is no solution to me. There is no solution. I think there is no solution. Online examination is a big fun because the main point is thinning of attendance. Many students, more than 70% or 75% students will not attend the examination because they have not availing the facilities of infrastructure. They are not availing internet facilities. They are not having Android mobile or laptop. Is government providing tablets or laptop to all the students? अगर गवर्नमेंट ने प्रोवाइड किया होता सबको लैपटॉप ऑन अ यूनिफॉर्म बेसिस, अगर गवर्नमेंट ने इंटरनेट फैसिलिटी इतनी अच्छी कर दी होती कि घर से बैठ के हर बच्चा, जैसे कि एडवांस कंट्रीज में या जहाँ पर वर्चुअल यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, ऑनलाइन यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, जहाँ पूरी टीचिंग जो है वो ऑनलाइन चल रही है थ्रू वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंसिंग एंड थ्रू, तो उनके लिए तो ठीक है. लेकिन हमारे यहाँ की कंडीशन आप देखिए, हमारे यहाँ तो खाने को 2 वक्त की रोटी ये गवर्नमेंट दे नहीं पाई. बच्चों को आप लैपटॉप या ये जो कंटेंट है, सोर्स मटेरियल, जिसको पढ़ के वो एग्जाम दें, जब आपने उनको स्टडी मटेरियल ही नहीं प्रोवाइड किया, यू आर फेल इन प्रोवाइडिंग देम स्टडी मटेरियल, you are fail in providing them getting their doubts clear. Because of social distancing, they are unable to clear their doubt with their teachers. So how can we take examination? Is it not unjust?
Okay, any students, we want to know your opinion also. Is there any student? Please Nazia, please say something.
Ma'am, it's not a question but just an opinion that कि ठीक है, बहुत सारे बच्चे जो हैं वो ऑनलाइन एक्सेस नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, उनके पास फोन या टैबलेट नहीं है, बट व्हाट फॉर दोज हु आर हैविंग इट, जिनके पास है, मतलब कि हम उनके लिए क्या करें? मतलब हम इस तरह से तो हम जिनके पास है और जिनके पास नहीं है, हम पूरी तरह से तो उनको डिस्कार्ड तो नहीं कर सकते हैं ना.
My just humble answer to this question is that in our society we are already having divides in the name of religion, in the name of caste, creed, in the name of wealth. Now there will be one more divide in the name of technology, that those who are availing the facility of internet and who are availing the facility of this technology will be in a privileged condition, will be able to attend classes and will be able to pass out in their examination, will be at an elated stage of their life, and those who are underprivileged, who are not having such facilities, will be further lowered down and they will be pushed back in their career. So is this feasible? Is this good? What do you say? कि ये जो ड्रिफ्ट है, जैसे अमीर और गरीब के बीच का ड्रिफ्ट है ना, अब ये गैप हम बढ़ा रहे हैं कि those who are internet feasible, who are internet friendly, and those who are technology unfriendly, या जिनके पास पैसा नहीं है, जिनके पास रिसोर्सेज नहीं है ऑनलाइन टीचिंग करने के और ऑनलाइन एग्जामिनेशन देने के या ऑनलाइन कंपटीशन देने के लिए, उन दोनों के बीच में ये गैप हम और बढ़ा रहे हैं. क्या हम ऐसा नहीं कर रहे हैं, माय डियर स्टूडेंट नाजिया परवीन?
यस मैम, आई अग्री, डिफरेंस थोड़ा बढ़ तो जाएगा, बट हम क्यों ना हम ये भी सोच सकते नहीं है कि जो ऑनलाइन क्लासेस हम अभी करा रहे हैं वो थोड़ा ज्यादा फ्रूटफुल हो. क्यों ना हम ऐसे कुछ सोशल इश्यूज भी बच्चों के सामने थ्रू ऑनलाइन टीचिंग हम वैसे कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स को भी हम पढ़ाएं जो उनके मतलब तो सोसाइटी के लिए भी थोड़ा अच्छा हो. लाइक इस तरह के डिस्क्रिमिनेशन बेसिस वाले टॉपिक्स भी कुछ इस तरह के हम
देखिए,
हम करा सकते हैं.
मैं ऑनलाइन टीचिंग को क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर रही हूँ, मुझे तो खुद मजा आता है ऑनलाइन टीचिंग करने में और इस मोड से पढ़ने में. एंड सिंस 15 years I am used to this mode of teaching and learning. लेकिन जो रियलिटी है, आप ग्रास रूट लेवल पे देखें कि जिन बच्चों के घरों में लैपटॉप नहीं है, जिनके यहाँ इंटरनेट का कनेक्शन नहीं है, इस कोविड-19 के दौर में बहुत सारे लोगों ने अपने घर में इंटरनेट का कनेक्शन लिया. बहुत सारे लोगों ने जिनके पास सहूलत नहीं थी, है ना, कर्ज ले करके और लैपटॉप खरीदा उन टीचर्स ने जिनको के ऑनलाइन टीचिंग करनी थी. अगर वो नहीं कर पाते तो वो जॉब से निकाल दिए जाते. क्या ये उनके ऊपर जुल्म नहीं है? व्हाट इज दिस, है ना? तो चीज बहुत अच्छी है इंटरनेट, लेकिन ये उन कंट्रीज के लिए है जहां पर पॉपुलेशन कम है, जहां कंपटीशन नहीं है और जहां गवर्नमेंट जो है वो लर्नर्स को और टीचर्स को इस तरह की फैसिलिटीज, कंप्यूटर, लैपटॉप और एंड्रॉइड मोबाइल और 24 घंटे 24/7 कनेक्टिविटी, 24/7 इलेक्ट्रिसिटी सप्लाई, ये सारी चीजें जहां पर मुहैया हैं, जहां अवेलेबल हैं, उनके लिए तो ऑनलाइन टीचिंग बहुत अच्छी चीज है. बट स्टिल ऑनलाइन एग्जामिनेशन इज अ डिफिकल्ट थिंग. ऑनलाइन एग्जामिनेशन, क्योंकि इसमें कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी नहीं रह जाती, इसमें सिक्योरिटी ऑफ एग्जामिनेशन जो है वो बहुत बुरी तरीके से हैम्पर होती है, इसमें विजिलेंस हैम्पर होती है, इसमें हम चीटिंग को अलाउ करते हैं. और आई थिंक दिस इज कर्स, एक ये जुल्म है बच्चों के ऊपर और ये इस तरीके से इसको नहीं लेना चाहिए. ठीक है, जरूर एक साल हमारा बर्बाद हो रहा है, लेकिन जान है तो जहां, जब हमारा मेंटल स्टेट ही सही नहीं होगा तो क्या. और बल्कि ये कोविड-19 जो है, this period is a period of testing for morality. It's a period of morality. कि हमें अगर 1 महीने की तनख्वाह नहीं मिलती है या देर हो जाती है, 2 और 3 दिन अगर लेट हो जाता है तो हम बिलबिला जाते हैं, या अगर 5 रुपए कम आते हैं. जितने लोग जॉब से बाहर हो गए, वो मजदूर जो 1300 किलोमीटर और 1500 किलोमीटर पैदल चल के गए, जिनके पैरों में छाले पड़ गए, बहुत से उसमें अपनी जिंदगी से हाथ धो बैठे. दूसरों के ऊपर पड़ती है तो हम दूर से बैठ के नजारा करते हैं, अफसोस कर लेते हैं. जब अपने ऊपर, अल्लाह ना करे, मैं नहीं ये कह रही, लेकिन अपने ऊपर भी रख करके उन चीजों को सोचना चाहिए. हमारे पास इंटरनेट फैसिलिटी है, हम अपने बच्चे को नीट का एग्जाम ऑनलाइन दिलवा सकते हैं, लेकिन वो बच्चे जो गरीब हैं, जिनके पास इंटरनेट फैसिलिटी नहीं है, बट दे आर केपेबल ऑफ कंप्लीटिंग दिस एग्जामिनेशन, एंड दिस जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस कोविड-19 पीरियड दे आर अनेबल टू अपीयर ऑनलाइन, है ना?
Yes,
तो उनका लॉस नहीं है, हमारा लॉस है, उनका लॉस नहीं है।
yes, yes.
आप बताइए, सिर्फ हमारा लॉस है, हमारी जिंदगी है, उनकी जिंदगी नहीं है,
No, मैम, सब बराबर हैं।
है ना?
Thank you, मैम।
Okay, thank you, Nazia. Thank you so much, ma'am. I was just refreshing the memories of my students' life. मैम बिल्कुल
My
ऐसा लग रहा
pleasure.
था इस क्लास में एकदम सब कुछ मैम याद आ रहा था, बीएड की एवेट की क्लास।
माय प्लेजर। आप लोगों ने, बानुर रहमान ने, आपने और सुचिता मैम और जो भी आपके यहाँ के ऑर्गेनाइजर और कन्वीनर हैं, आप लोगों ने मुझे एक बहुत अच्छा मौका दिया और उसके लिए मैं बेहद आप लोगों की मशकूर और ममनून हूँ कि आपके इस वेबिनार के जरिए बहुत सारे लोगों से मैं कनेक्ट हुई, और मैं उन तमाम लोगों का शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ जिन लोगों ने इस लेक्चर को अटेंड किया और जो इसके जरिए कांटेक्ट में आए। रिजवानुल सईद साहब नजर आ रहे हैं, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया, आपने पूरे टाइम बैठ के सुना, जबकि आपका बहुत बिजी शेड्यूल रहता है, मुझे मालूम है, लेकिन फिर भी आपने मेरे लेक्चर को शायद मेरी वजह से और एक उस रिलेशनशिप की वजह से आपने अटेंड किया। मैं आपकी भी बेहद शुक्रगुजार हूँ, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। तमाम लोगों का बेहद, सुचिता भुइया मैम आपका बेहद शुक्रिया कि आपने मुझे इस लेक्चर के लिए इनवाइट किया।
थैंक यू मैडम।
सुंबुल, आपकी मोहब्बतों का, आप लोगों के खुलूस का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया।
नहीं मैम, हमने आपको बहुत एंजॉय किया, बहुत वैल्यूएबल इंफॉर्मेशन आपने दी, बहुत ही अच्छा लेक्चर था, बहुत बढ़िया, बहुत लाजवाब।
माय प्लेजर इज ऑलवेज माइन।
मैम लास्ट में अपनी बात को मैं बस इस दुआ से आपके लिए खत्म करूंगी, मेरी आपके लिए और अपने आपके साथ साथ अपने सब तमाम टीचर्स के लिए मेरी एक दुआ है, जिसको प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद पीस बी अपॉन हिम, उन्होंने एक ये दुआ कही थी, एक उनकी हदीस है जिसको मैं यहाँ रिसाइट करना चाहूंगी, और आपके लिए और अपने तमाम टीचर्स के लिए मेरी ये दुआ है। Allah, His angels and all those in the heavens and earth, even ants in hills and fish in the water, call down the blessings those who instruct others in beneficial knowledge.
जज़ाकल्लाह।
मेरी दुआ है आप ऐसे ही आप जो है अल्लाह आपको खूब सेहत दे और अल्लाह आपको आपका जो है आप साया हम लोगों के ऊपर ऐसे ही बनाए रखे, और उम्मीद है कि आपसे हम ऐसे ही कनेक्टेड रहेंगे और आपके नॉलेज से हम ऐसे ही फैज़याब रहेंगे। थैंक यू सो मच मैम।
और आपका ये सरप्राइज मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। आई एम रियली ओवरवेल्म्ड विद दिस सरप्राइज।
थैंक यू।
और हमारे बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ हैं इस सेशन में।
यस मैम, यस मैम, थैंक यू मैम। ओवर टू यू शिबान सर।
Shivan, should I switch over now? Should I close the session now?
शिवान सर।
नो मैम, प्लीज वेट कीजिए।
अच्छा ठीक है भाई, अल्लाह
तो ठीक,
हाफिज।
नहीं एक मिनट।
अच्छा
हाँ हेलो, thank you Professor Subuhi, and thank you very much ma'am for your very enlightening lecture, and as you said 75% students अगर नहीं attend कर पाएंगे तो क्या फायदा ऐसे एग्जाम्स का। मैं तो कहता हूँ 75% तो आपने बहुत बड़ा डेटा दे दिया मैम। अगर एक भी स्टूडेंट हमारा नहीं अटेंड कर पाता है, करना चाहता है नहीं कर पाता है बिकॉज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चरल लैक ऑफ इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, तो ये लॉस है हमारे लिए, आपके लिए, टीचर्स के लिए, इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए और इन लास्ट पूरे कंट्री के लिए। So it was a very valuable lecture from you, ma'am. Thank you so much for enlightening us again with this particular beautiful words of yours. Definitely, we have a confidence in you that whenever Karim City College will call you for any other topic, your hand always be raised saying, yes, I am in. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would like to call our head, Dr. Suchita Bhuiya, who is the architect of all this web lecture series and who is always supportive as our head to create such kind of virtual web lectures, classrooms, and seminars. Dr. Suchita ma'am, please come and give a vote of thanks.
गुड आफ्टरनून. मैं रेस्पेक्टेड हमारे प्रिंसिपल सर डॉक्टर मोहम्मद जकारिया सर, डायरेक्टर सर डॉक्टर मोहम्मद जकारिया सर, प्रिंसिपल प्रोफेसर इंचार्ज डॉक्टर मोहम्मद रियाज सर, हमारे गेस्ट स्पीकर डॉक्टर निखत नसरीन मैडम, हमारे ऑर्गेनाइजिंग सेक्रेटरी प्रोफेसर सिबानुर रहमान सर, co-organizing secretary Rituraj madam, all faculties and Subhi Rahman madam, all good afternoon. आज का जो टॉपिक था वो एक बर्निंग टॉपिक है, नेचुरली एड्रेसिंग द इश्यूज ऑफ इवैल्यूएशन ड्यूरिंग कोविड-19, क्योंकि ये हम टीचर और स्टूडेंट सभी के दिमाग में एक उथल पुथल मचाया हुआ है कि हम कैसे करें, किस तरह से करें, किस प्रकार से करें। तो इसलिए हम सभी परेशान हैं और इस परेशानी के माहौल में आपने जो लेक्चर दिया, हमें जो आपने कुछ बताए, वो हम लोग सही मायने में इस मुश्किल की घड़ी में आपने कुछ हमको सहारा दिया या बताया। पर वास्तव में आप नहीं, ये हर एक व्यक्ति, हर एक बंदा जो कह सकते हैं, हर एक लोग, चाहे वो प्राइमरी हो, प्री प्राइमरी हो या सीनियर स्टूडेंट्स हो, सभी इस दौर से, इस परेशानी से गुजर रहे हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि इस मुश्किल की जो दौर है, उसके लिए मैं कहना चाहूंगी कि इस कोविड-19 से लड़ने का भी अलग ही मजा है। ये कोविड-19 से लड़ने का भी अलग ही मजा है। ये हमें जीतने नहीं देती और हम हार मानने वाले नहीं है। हम जरूर ही इस मुश्किल घड़ी में, परेशान घड़ी में हम निश्चित उबर कर आएंगे और हम इस परेशानी को एक साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर, चाहे वो हम हो या एक छोटे तबके का एक बालक हो, सबके लिए यदि हम मिलजुल कर यदि हाथ बढ़ाते हैं तो निश्चित ही इस परेशानी से हम उबर लेंगे। मैडम, आपने बहुत सही कहा कि केवल हम नीट के एग्जाम के लिए लैपटॉप जुगाड़ करते हैं, एक बच्चा जो खाने को नसीब नहीं हो रहा है, उनको पास में कहाँ से आए। तो सही माने में ये परेशानी तो है, पर इस परेशानी को हम धीरे धीरे इस चीज को सहल करेंगे। और जैसे जैसे हम कहते हैं ना, एक डूबते को हम जैसे हाथ पैर मारने लगते हैं तो हमें कुछ ना कुछ सहारा मिलता है। तो निश्चित ही हमें ना कुछ हम सब मिलेंगे। तो जो एजुकेटर्स बैठे हैं और हम सब, हमारी सब विचार से कहीं ना कहीं कुछ एक सहारा मिलेगा और हम आगे निकल कर आएंगे कि इसमें कैसे काम करना है। और आपने जैसे गवर्नमेंट के पॉलिसी के बारे में कहा कि आप एक उल्लू ही बर्बाद कर सकता है, सही मायने में हम यदि कोई गलती करते हैं तो वो पूरा समाज के लिए परेशानी होगा। तो निश्चित मैडम, आपका जो लेक्चर था बहुत, मैं तहे दिल से धन्यवाद कहूंगी। और सुबही मैडम का और सिबानुर रहमान का, जो आपके स्टूडेंट रह चुके हैं, जिनको आपने पढ़ाया, आज हमें आपको सुनने का मिला, तो उसके लिए हम भी शुक्रगुजार हैं उन सुबही और सिबान सर का। और आपका शुक्रगुजार है कि अलीगढ़ से हमें ऐसे हम तो देख नहीं पाते शायद, और आज हमको इस कोविड-19 के जरिए हम आपको सुनने के लिए मिले और सुन सके, आपको जान सके, आपका इतना परिचय हुआ, तो कहीं ना कहीं कोई चीज हमारे लिए फायदेमंद भी होती है कि हमारे स्टूडेंट को आपके जैसे एक इतनी पर्सनालिटी को सुनने का हमें मौका मिला। तो ये बहुत बड़ी खुशी की बात है कि आपको हमने सुना और समझा। तो हमें तहे दिल से हम अपने करीम सिटी कॉलेज के परिवार की ओर से आपको धन्यवाद देते हैं, फैकल्टी ऑफ एजुकेशन की तरफ से आपको धन्यवाद देते हैं और शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं कि आपने इतना बहुमूल्य समय दिया हमारे लिए। और मैं अपने प्रिंसिपल सर और डायरेक्टर सर का भी धन्यवाद दूंगी, जिन्होंने हमें समय और हर काम के लिए अग्रसित किया। और हमारे जो परिवार है, जो फैकल्टी ऑफ एजुकेशन का परिवार है, वो परिवार में जो लोग हैं वो हमें इतना कोऑपरेटिव करते हैं। तो मैं सर्वप्रथम शिबानुर रहमान सर जो ऑर्गेनाइजिंग सेक्रेटरी हैं, ऋतुराज मैडम और सुभी का धन्यवाद देती हूँ। और पूरे इस फैकल्टी में हम बीच में छूट जाते हैं, कुछ ऐसे बंदे भी हैं, कुछ ऐसे फैकल्टी भी हैं जो बाहर तो नजर नहीं आते, पर पूरा इसका रिपोर्टिंग का काम अनामिका मैडम करती हैं और प्रियंका मैडम करती हैं। तो उन्हें ये रिपोर्टिंग के लिए भी मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगी, क्योंकि इन्होंने पूरा जितना भी काम होता है उसका रिपोर्ट तैयार करती है। सामने तो दिखता नहीं है, किंतु ये पूरा सुनकर, पूरा पेशेंसली सुनकर इनका रिपोर्ट तैयार करती है। साथ ही मेरे जो स्टूडेंट्स, मेरे श्रोता या जो लिसनर्स है, ये बड़े अच्छे गुड लिसनर है, इसके लिए उन्हें भी मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ। थैंक यू मैडम, मैं बहुत तहे दिल से आपको धन्यवाद देती हूँ। थैंक यू। ओवर टू शिवा।
Hello. Thank you, Suchita ma'am, for your always motivating words. And yes, of course, we have already been divided into various streams like region, religion, caste, community, and now we don't want any digital divide. That was the crux of your lecture, ma'am. Thank you so much. I, Shibanur Rahman, organizing secretary, immensely thank my joint organizing secretary, Rituraj ma'am, Priyanka ma'am, Anamika ma'am, Subhi ma'am, and all the committee members and all the faculty members for enabling me and my team for hosting this lecture, A Frictionless Drive. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone from Bangalore. Also, I would like to thank Regency College who have joined here. Thank you so much. And of course, thanks a lot, Nakat Nasreen ma'am, for your valuable words, which I heard again and again and would love to hear again and again. Thank you, everyone. This is me, Shibanur Rahman, signing off for today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.